I saw this thing on my TV the other week. Says if he's playing with her, she's probably keen. She's playing with her well regularly. So I reckon I could well be in. Hello, lads.
Hello.
We've all got tickets to the streets. Oh, no, you haven't.
I haven't.
You didn't?
Not really interested, I'm bothered.
Really?
I don't mind it. I've got no problem with them. They've got a great podcast. Not they, him.
They have an amazing podcast called
Peak Times.
Peak Times.
But
you know what's peak? You know what is peak, as the kids say?
Yeah.
Shakespeare's just been and gone binned.
Shakespeare
Binned by
out.
Leicester. Shakespeare, and you couldn't be happier, could you? Horrible little man.
Why am I a horrible little man?
What's he done to deserve that?
Man. I tell you what, he's they're 6 games without a win.
Yep.
Last time that happened, they got rid of Ranieri.
Yep.
Now they're just a club that could have had some integrity and been in the exact same position as they are right now. Instead, they're a little toad of a club. Apart from, look, I've got no problem with the fans. You can feel free to get angry with me in the comments, whatever. But Shakespeare is a snake, and he can go back to the little rock that he came out of.
Wow.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
look, there's no room in football for sentiment.
And look what Ranieri's doing.
What?
Incredible things at Nantes.
Is he?
Yes.
Is he really?
French league.
Are they doing well?
Very well.
Nantes.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
None.
No, whatever. Not nonce.
What, Nantes?
Yeah.
Nantes.
Yeah.
Non.
He's doing well with them. I just felt. Do you know what? At least they're kind of consistent. The owners, I guess.
I mean, he's got to go. I mean,
Mate, that's your.
He's got to go.
No, okay. Let me just be clear. He shouldn't be sacked. There's
course he should.
There's no point in sacking him at this point in time. I'm sure he's actually an okay manager, but
They've won 1 game in 10, and that win came in the Checker Trade Trophy.
Carabao Cup.
That win came in the Carabao Cup. That is not good form. And I
know it's not good form, but
you're too patient with managers.
I don't think I am. I think I'm good.
Coming to the real world.
If I was chairman of Leicester,
Yep.
they'd be in the same league with a manager who's got some credibility, and they'd be a club
What does that mean?
with some integrity. Instead, they're in the exact same position
All right. I see.
with no integrity whatsoever.
Not
the fans, the club.
Yeah.
2 different things.
Yeah.
So you were. Yeah, I was going to use a different phrase. You loved Shakespeare. You were saying, "Oh, he was the mastermind behind them winning the league all along."
Yeah. I think
Turns out,
Ranieri had done
he's
so
just
much
as rubbish.
damage to the players emotionally,
Right.
that Shakespeare couldn't do much about it. No, I mean I'm glad he's gone.
Oh, yeah.
I have no feelings for him. I just thought it was him that was probably responsible. But as it turns
That's
out,
lazy, Flav.
probably
You're being lazy because do you know what? It's easy to go. It's the same with. I was doing something upstairs. I was looking at goalkeepers. It's the same thing with someone like. I'm gonna get crucified in this podcast. Someone like Joe Hart, right?
Mm.
It's easy to go. Oh, Pickford's amazing. Oh, Butland's amazing. I'm sure they are both really good goalkeepers, but it's a different kind of pressure. Having the job or being on the throne and then being that guy on the way up or being the guy who's new.
Yeah.
And so, on the other side of that, when you are in a difficult period as a manager or as a player, no one gives you any chance or gives you any credit or gives you any patience whatsoever. It's just get rid of him and get a new guy in, and then that'll be the fix. Well, I'll tell you what. Turns out it isn't a fix.
I mean,
Stupid.
it depends on who you. It is a fix sometimes. It's not. That's just a blanket rule. It depends. Like if you look at Watford, look at what Silva already did with Hull, given the fact that he was in an impossible job, did an amazing job there.
Yeah.
Really.
Look, sometimes it does work. Sometimes it's depending on how good the manager is. Sometimes I think people need to show a bit more patience. We did it on the Ball Street's new Strand, the breakfast show, news at 10. We spoke about what Shakespeare was saying. He's had 4 games, and any Premier League manager is in crisis. And I think there's a lot of truth in that statement.
Yeah.
But it's nonsense. It should be complete nonsense, in my opinion.
Because if you stick long enough, most managers will get it right.
Again, I don't think it's a blanket rule, but I think if you can, there's so many variables in football. But we're totally judged on the result of a game. But there's so many moments in a game. There's so many players involved constantly.
Yeah.
That sometimes you just got to stick with it, and if you can see a general improvement there.
Generally, football fans are pessimistic, though. They are pessimistic people. So you go at Spurs in Tottenham Twitter.
If Pochettino loses 6 on the bounce, you get rid of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, look. I'm not saying he would, but that's probably what would happen if he lost 6 on the bounce. There would certainly be people calling for his head.
That is the most insane thing
It is.
ever.
It is. But you're logical and you're thoughtful and you're philosophical,
Thanks,
right?
man.
Which are all positive things.
Yeah.
But you're also a snowflake. All right.
What does that mean?
It means you don't have the bollocks to make the tough decisions.
That's not true.
It is. Ollie's got to go.
Ollie has not got to go. How dare you?
Ollie's got to get out of your football club. He's a cancer.
He's not a cancer. But I mean, you've got to understand if someone's bringing something to your club beyond results.
Absolutely. I'm 100%.
No, that sounds weird.
No, I don't. I subscribe completely to that because the criticisms of Pochettino is that what's he won? He hasn't won anything, but it feels fucking great being a Spurs fan at the moment. It has done for the last 3 years.
Yeah, you need to. There's not enough studies done on like momentum, and it is in football. Momentum is such a powerful thing, but at the same time, it can change literally like that.
Even in a
weird
game.
sending off, refereeing decision, a bit of luck, it can change, and it there are peaks and troughs with it. So, I think if you can have. When you've got a bit of momentum, or there are any opportunities to start to build momentum, you need to kind of push forward with those. So when you think people are in, there are these like nonsense statements from chairman saying we're completely behind the manager, and they're going to get sacked like one game later. That doesn't just affect that manager that goes; it affects the manager after, because you've set a precedent.
How long would you have given Shakespeare?
Shakespeare to at least 10 games. I know, so is that only 2 more? But like, I think I would have given look, where are Leicester going to finish this season? Like,
not 18th. They're too good.
No,
to
they are
that
too good to
down.
finish, and they probably would do. But like, I think you give him 15 games, don't you? Not completely floundering.
Nah, get him
They
out.
look good against a couple of. They look good against Arsenal. They looked good against Brighton. I know Brighton are the greatest of teams. I think I'm more than delighted too far. I'm very happy that he's gone because I don't think he deserved the job in the first place.
Yeah,
but he shouldn't be.
A place
sacked.
in your heart for Mr. Dilly Dong or whatever he's called.
Yeah, he's a nice bloke.
Thank you so much for joining us on Long Ball Street Podcast. We've got lots to pack into today's show, including Tottenham in the Bernabeu, Arsenal watching Emmerdale.
Yeah.
Tottenham in the Bernabeu.
Is Emmerdale
Arsenal
on
watching Emmerdale. What?
Is Emmerdale on Tuesday?
Probably, I don't know, is it? I don't know. I'll be too busy watching Tottenham in the Bernabeu. We've also got Troy Deeney's comments about Arsenal. How refreshing it was for a footballer to talk in such open and frank ways.
Or unprofessional.
See, that's what we're looking at. Actually selling Newcastle United. Safe standing. Good news, safe standing at Shrewsbury. And probably won't talk about Napoli and Man City because I don't know anything about Napoli.
Should be a caucus.
I know they're very good. At the top of the league.
Dries Mertens.
And we might fit in some other bits and pieces. And anyone watching live on YouTube, we'll field your questions. We're about 5 minutes to go. We'll give you a shout, put some decent questions in, and we'll ask them. You can literally ask James anything, and he'll answer it.
Rob Spur calling for James's story. Never been told.
What story?
The story that I never got to tell.
I mean, there's
Not
lots.
even that good. So maybe just keep moving forward.
Yeah. So we'll ask you questions, anything at the end of the show, and we'll see where we go. Okay, Tottenham versus Real Madrid. From an outside perspective, what do you think? Or have you even thought about it? And not really. No, fair enough.
No, I haven't overly, to be honest. I'll tell you what. Do I like about it? This is a weird thing about this fixture. Is in my head, you're both playing in white, and I love a white kit.
Yeah.
It's very clean, looks good, you look good when you're wearing it, and I just like that. The game itself is something with actual value that I can say. It is going to be a really interesting one because they're seen as the best team in European football, are floundering in the league. They will be favourites. But I think if you're I think if you're Pochettino, you go to the lads, you go, tell you what, fucking enjoy this one. Because you've won the 2 games before, you're in a good place in the group, no one is expecting you to do something, but you could scare the whole of Europe tonight. Give it a go.
Fuck. Like, if we beat Real Madrid, right, away, if we do, that is a massive, massive statement to the rest of Europe. One. It also tells our players and our manager that we can win the fucking Champions League.
Yeah,
because if you're beat the hardest fixture in the hardest fixture in the Champions League is probably Napoli away, Barcelona away, Real Madrid away, and City away. But yeah, so those are the 4 ones. If you beat any one of those away, that is a massive statement.
Yeah.
Well, you're right though. We are in a position where we've won our first 2. We need a point from either one of the Real Madrid games or the Dortmund away game, which is tough in itself, and to beat Applewell, and we're guaranteed to go through in a group that a lot of people didn't think we would do.
I think obviously winning those first 2 games allows you to go into this one in a different frame of mind. But is there a different feeling around Champions League this year? Did that Borussia Dortmund game just kind of blow away a lot of the nerves?
Do you know this always happens in football, and I can't explain why. But everybody thinks they know how a Champions League group is going to go, and there's always 1 or 2 teams that surprise. Spurs were favourites to go through our group last year. Monaco, no one even thought about, and they got through to the semi-final. Yeah. There's so much more to football, and it's than what you know previously about that team. So much can change in a small amount of time.
Yeah.
The Spurs may have something might have clicked in Tottenham that people don't, and fans of Spurs hadn't even seen, that makes us perfect for playing in the Champions League trophy. And what I saw against Dortmund, and I think part of this was forced by the fact that Dortmund was so good on the ball, that we played one of the most effective counter-attacking performances I've ever seen from a Spurs side.
I also think psychologically, not being the favourites for the group, I think, look, if you go really kind of basic on it, and you go, what's the price of the squad that have been assembled, you should be getting out of that group. But because of how badly done the year before, and Borussia Dortmund play exciting football, you thought that, at the very best, you're second favourites to get through. And
I don't think anyone would have had us there at second favourite.
But only because of last time. Like you've been the best team in the Premier League for the last 2 seasons to a point in terms of the results, but you're in a nice little pocket there where you kind of you aren't the favourites, so you can just give it a go instead of that pressure of like, why aren't you beating Swansea at home, or why can't you win at Wembley?
Yeah,
there's a different kind of feel to it.
There's a lot of that in terms of pressure and with the impact that has even on professional footballers.
Because you do still have young players, they're experienced to a point, but in the Champions League less so.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of you guys
how much does experience count for in these tournaments? I think experience is a kind of cliched. Oh, he's got experience in the Champions League. Does it make any difference to players?
I think again, there's I think there's a bit of a sweet spot with it, because it's about in the Championship. I've seen it with QPR a bit this year. Definitely seen it with Brentford when I've watched them. Is that you're better off buying younger, hungrier players. It is a thing. Like I was like, well, hang on, these guys have been there and done it. It means nothing if they haven't got the stomach for the fight anymore. Whereas you're actually better off being having less quality, less experience, but having more gusto. And that's probably what you saw with Monaco last season, is that they had zero experience, but apart from Falcao, but they were at that sort of youthful vigour, and they were fearless, and there was zero pressure on them, and they actually had good players who are going to go on and have gone on to different teams and will be stars, I guess. But in that moment in time, it sat quite well with them. I think that's quite helpful for a lot of teams.
I'll tell you what might be fascinating tonight is when Harry Winks goes up against Luka Modric.
That is interesting. Similar players?
The old guard versus the young blood. Very similar.
Yeah.
Harry Winks is miles from Luka Modric, right? He's not even in his world in terms of his ability on the pitch, but his raw ability, they're cut from the same cloth. They're similar type of players. Lovely technique, low centre of gravity, a nightmare to try and tackle, and they find a way into space. And while I think this game's way too big, too soon for Winks, I'm not sure Pochettino would agree with me, and I wouldn't be surprised if he starts against Real Madrid in the Bernabeu.
But we've seen these over the years. Like Cesc Fabregas against, I think it was Juventus. I think he's playing against Vieira, dominated the game. Or I might be completely wrong with that. Bale against Inter Milan. There are games where people kind of arrive a little bit. Yeah. So that's another exciting bit for the game, is that it is an exciting game against the champions.
Yeah.
So someone like Harry Winks, he could arrive, which is exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone might watch this tomorrow and you've got pumped 5-0.
Yeah. I mean, we could, and I think obviously this game ultimately doesn't have much bearing on how we get on for the rest of the season. I think Spurs fans are mildly confident. And what would be interesting about people listening to this after the podcast is how wrong we get it. But as fans, as everything going into this game, we're mildly confident. I'm confident that we'll be able to get something from the game. I don't think we'll win. The big problem is we've got no left-sided wing back.
Do you know, just going off topic a bit, but so Rory from CFC Fan TV, can we talk about him just for a second?
Yeah, go on.
Just because what we're doing right now is we're kind of going, oh, this could happen, bit of hope. These are my predictions, fine. Rory on Friday did a preview for the Crystal Palace game.
Yeah.
And
he destroyed Crystal Palace, didn't he?
Crystal Palace and Roy Hodgson in his very good strand. That's 5 reasons why, whatever it is. And he just said the main reason is Roy Hodgson. And what happened?
The footballing gods collected their dues.
They swatted him away with a delicate waft, like it was from Roy Hodgson's neck. Get out of my way. Give me my 3 points. And he went all over Twitter.
Yeah, he got absolutely
I haven't had that yet.
crucified, bless him.
I haven't had that kind of that moment of, probably because I haven't got any followers on Twitter,
yeah.
But that moment of I put myself out there and then get smacked in the face. You have it with Harry Kane, but in a good way, don't you?
Yeah, you don't really give a shit. And remember, when this shit happens, no one really gives a shit. They don't care about you or who you are in any way. They message you and then they move on. Troy Deeney's comments about Arsenal.
Can I just say, for people who don't watch this live on YouTube, Adam in the comments is insane. Adam is doing the streams just off camera here, as he always is, and we appreciate that. But Adam
what's
just
so insane?
I don't know. You just there's just some weird conversation going on in the comments.
Yeah, they're playing currently in the comments. They're playing kill, marry,
Shag.
or shag. Someone said shag Adam, marry Adam, kill Adam.
Wow.
In that order.
Yeah, and all I've had was kill Flav, which is nice.
Someone else suggested the game.
What game?
Shag, marry, kill.
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't you. All right, let's move on to people that aren't watching on YouTube.
Sorry.
That's all right, it's fine. Just don't do it again.
Okay.
Troy Deeney, his comments about Arsenal prior to the game. They brought him in. After the game, they brought him into the Sky. Was it Sky Sports or BT? Can't remember.
BT Sport.
BT Sports, which was quite cool to get a player in after the game and sit him down and talk to him. And he just basically said, "I know that Arsenal haven't got any bollocks. So I know that I'm not going to be as good as you, but my strength is going to unsettle you." And I think for a lot of Arsenal fans, certainly the ones you see on Arsenal Fan TV, they'll probably agree with him. There is no bollocks in that team. But I think the more interesting question is, should he have said it? And if not, why not?
If you want, it's down to his personality and what he's happy with. For the entertainment of football fans, for the discussion point, it's helpful. For us, it gives us something to talk about, and it was refreshingly honest.
Yeah.
Or you got the feeling it was an honest opinion from him, and he seems quite happy to do that. He doesn't care, does he?
He's absolutely brilliant at talking.
Yeah, yeah.
He's so comfortable, and I think he just sees through the bullshit of football. Really, he's gone. He did something bad in the past. He went to prison for it, and he came out of it, I think, a lot more philosophical. It seems that way anyway, and the way he's spoken about it before. He doesn't suffer the bollocks of football. He realises it's a game. He realises what he's paid to do, and the way he talks is as if he's almost transcended. I don't know, that's such a grand way. He'd hate that, I think. But he's just risen above all the nonsense that football is.
Yeah, he's kind of pushed past it, hasn't he? Yeah, you're right. I think we need players like him, in terms of people actually going to speak their mind. Because when I think of the top players in football, they're just sort of like, they're just mute, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're just sort of mime artists.
Because none of them want to fuck up their legacy. None of them want to fuck up the opportunity to get paid. None of them want to fuck up sponsorship deals down the road.
Yeah.
None of them want to speak their mind, because when they do, historically, footballers get chastised, and I think often they don't have the intelligence or nous to ride that storm or force it in the direction that's beneficial to them. I think Troy Deeney has such a level of intelligence that he could probably do that. One person who doesn't, who pretends he does, is Joey Barton, who can't manage the media or is needlessly antagonistic and abrasive.
Yeah.
Because he's making a point about something, he thinks that he's doing God's work. Do you know what I mean? He thinks he's doing the good thing.
It's definitely got a high opinion of himself. He's on TalkSport a lot at the moment.
His morning show, isn't he?
Yeah, him and Alan Brazil. I think he has moments where he makes decent comments. I think that him and Troy Deeney are both in that kind of that mid-table Premier League player level where you are relevant, but you can kind of say what you want because it's really not going to affect your life too much.
Yeah.
In terms of what he said, I think the bottom line actually is it probably is unprofessional. It probably is. It's not going to do him any good saying stuff like that, but it's nice to have. He's probably his status within other people will know him a little bit more if that's what he's after.
Yeah, I mean
does he need to say that?
It depends.
Probably not.
I think he's onto a better career after he's finished playing. If he wants to go into punditry, he's set himself up perfectly for that.
Yeah, by being antagonistic, which is.
Is it antagonistic though? I don't think
he knows what he's doing.
No. So I would see antagonistic as someone who's been needlessly provocative to cause a reaction to further his agenda. In this instance, he was just answered a question instead of straight batting it. We just give 110% and went out there and so do you know what I mean? Instead, he said, honestly, what I think is that Arsenal haven't got any bollocks at the moment. And I don't think he didn't create the situation. It was put in front of him, and he answered honestly. I think there's something very admirable in that.
But how would and I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
How would Troy Deeney feel if someone said that about Watford? And he is someone who there is this kind of blanket statement that Arsenal don't have leaders, don't have bollocks, don't have whatever.
Mm.
But for the people involved, his fellow professionals, they might be trying as best they can.
What you're saying is he should respect players, his fellow professionals.
I'm saying if it was the other way around, and say they were in the situation that they were at the back end of last season, where they weren't winning games, they were getting pumped 5-0 by Man City, and say 80% of that team weren't putting themselves about and putting the effort in, but he was one of the few who truly believed that they were giving everything they could to be a good professional and do well.
Yeah.
Then how would you feel if some guy just comes up and says that?
I think he's casting an opinion that's clearly evident. You look at Xhaka when
but also not quantifiable.
No. That's fair.
Like, I'm sure all of them have got
I mean, look, there's evidence in it. Like, even say it was a blanket response, I guess. He's casting and said there must have been players in Arsenal that do give a shit. But then when you see the goal that they can see is Xhaka's on the edge of the box and there's fucking 4 Watford players on their own and he's picking his nose, literally. Yeah. You think that is a lack of heart and desire and bollocks to get in.
Yes, absolutely. And for what it's worth, I agree with what he's saying.
Yeah.
I agree with what he's saying, but I think that's down to recruitment. You have different kinds of football players.
Xhaka's supposed to be a fucking have
a bit about him,
yeah, like all the red cards and whatnot, and he's just proven to be a huge expenditure for a very limited return currently.
He has moments, but I think he needs someone alongside him who can go, right, okay, this isn't working, give me the ball, let me just sort this out for a bit. And Xhaka doesn't seem to want to do that. Yeah, his defending for the Cleverley goal, the winning goal, that's outrageous.
What defending?
Yeah,
nothing. He just stood there and was passer by. If I was a manager, I was saying you're out of the team.
Yeah, and I watched the last 20 minutes of that game. And Deeney, he did get involved, and I think he's also playing up his own part as well.
Yeah,
because he wants to be involved more. He's probably annoyed that he's not starting these games.
The skill in the way he delivered his points, he was self-deprecating, but while giving himself a platform.
And that's something that Watford fans will they'll love it. Yeah. Because it's about heart and hard work and physicality, all things that English football fans love. But there are other things that he probably can't do. And that's what I mean by that point, is that there are players that the problem with the Arsenal team is the balance isn't right. They need and we all know this, they need a Matic, they need a N'Golo Kante, they need a Idrissa Gueye, they need someone who can be the sort of stomach and the grit for that team. Doesn't mean that the other players aren't decent players, but they haven't got the right blend.
Seems to be a blind spot for Wenger, that defensive midfield.
Massively,
Like he's had years to sort it. He pulled it out of the bag with Vieira, found the best box-to-box midfielder to ever do it, one of. And since then, he's just not been able to find the grit.
Did enough. Mate, like Great Touch for Big Love, we're doing podcast 5 years. Every year, every couple of months we go, do you know what they need? Centre-back, defensive midfielder and a striker. I mean, they've got the striker, but it's the same thing. But I mean, it's interesting. I saw one comment there. It's someone was saying unprofessional but true. I think that's probably about right.
But what do you want though? In terms of football being an entertainment sport, it's about us enjoying it on and off the pitch. The kind of, do you want players to straight bat everything? I don't. I want them to be controversial and say things that everyone else is thinking. It's so boring hearing players just spill out cliches.
Yeah, I think there is a more polite way of doing it, and it being about Watford instead of it being about this other team being a dig at the other team. I mean, to be honest, I don't overly care. but you know, if it is about being polite or being a decent professional to other professionals, then he could have kept his mouth shut and just enjoyed the win. But if he's having a bit of fun, then good luck to him.
Do you care about Ashley and Newcastle?
Yeah, I think I do a little bit, tiny bit. I find that Ashley, I don't know enough about his situation and his intention.
Is he done that bad? Keep getting him up again. I know they go back down.
Guys, don't do this.
What?
He's done so bad.
Has he?
Yeah. Well,
so,
okay.
I've read it.
It's written it down. I've got it. It was that you were saying. So he's been there 10 seasons. He's taken them down twice. One top half finish in the entire period that he's been at the club. Massive club. 2 relegations. 4 cup wins. I think 4 FA Cup wins. Which is more than QPR. So done better than Fernandez. So yeah.
It's just a complete lack of ambition, isn't it?
He doesn't care about what happens on the pitch as long as they stay in the Premier League, and he has a global audience for Sports Direct. So he spend the minimum amount possible to keep them in the league, which is obviously infuriating for Newcastle fans. Yeah. Because and he's hiring people who don't really deserve to be where they are. They haven't earned it, like Joe Kinnear and Alan Pardew. So they essentially are yes men, and they'll do whatever he says. They're happy to manage for a club that has no ambition.
Dennis Wise.
Yeah,
that's a good shout.
He's just plucked out of nowhere.
I think the problem as well is that he came into the club, and a lot of overseas owners have come in. One statement that he has made, which I think is a fair comment, is he's gone. There's clubs now with the wealth of a country.
Yeah.
I don't have that wealth. I can't spend that kind of money. He'd burnt his bridges before then, and the way that he's spoken to the fans, the way that he's dealt with different managers, and then the people that he's appointed, as Adam said, that have been yes men, that's a bit more unforgivable than his ability to spend money or not spend money. But I can understand the frustration for Newcastle fans, because you've seen all these guys come in with silly amounts of money and they're spending that money, and I think it's quite easy for football fans to go, well you do it, you spend that kind of money. And he hasn't wanted to do it, but there's no doubt that he's not the right man for Newcastle. He never has been. He's not been endearing to them at all.
No.
Changing the name of the stadium.
That's, for me, is the absolute non-starter, you know. And the rebranding of and naming rights of stadium is going to be a thing that all clubs, certainly in the top flight with a global audience, going to have to face at some stage. There's no way that Spurs can build this stadium without selling the rights to the stadium, and there's a strong possibility, big rumours, that it's going to be called the Nike Stadium. Really? Nike Stadium. Which, while is one of the cooler brands in the world, it's not like the fucking Sainsbury's Stadium.
Yeah.
It could be a
It's
lot
a good
worse.
stadium,
It still leaves a little hollow feeling in my stomach.
Yeah.
But you know, there's. I mean, outside, you know, one top 10 finish is sacrilege. It's terrible, and the huge contract to Alan Pardew should be enough to, you know, for him to be torn out of the football club himself. You know, it's 8 years he was given. Alan Pardew in 8 years.
That was odd. That was
Weird.
odd to give him 8 years. He had a great season the season before.
Yeah.
Much
He
Newcastle
fifth,
fans
wasn't
hate
it?
it.
Fifth or sixth?
Fifth, yeah. It's crazy. I think they're a unique club as well. 52,000 people go to that. It like, you know, we've heard Brian True Geordie talk about it before. That it is a bubble in Newcastle.
Yeah, because it's one team.
And so that creates a different kind of pressure for that team, and they are huge. They're a huge club, but the chairman hasn't. He's not big enough.
It's time anyway. It's like, regardless of what's gone on, 10 years, no real progress, up and yo-yoing up and down the league. It's time for a change.
The one thing that you've got to be a bit scared of is, I think you were saying, Flav, that they want to sell by Christmas. They've come out and made that statement, and that can mean two things. One, you've got a guy, you know, some owners, some investors, ready to go, and it's down the line, and you're just finishing it off. And apparently there's 4 people that are, you know, looking into it at the moment, have signed NDAs that might pay the 380 million that he wants. But he's also kind of made a statement saying they're willing to take staggered payments. That's the bit that kind of, I can understand. It looks all rosy if you go, oh, we want this done by Christmas, because you think, why would you come out and say that if you didn't have someone sorted? But then when he says, you know, they're okay to take staggered payments, you're happy to make that backward step, it makes you think that maybe it's something else. There was a journalist saying that the idea of making that statement is to smoke out all the investors and get them to finally go, okay, fine, this much, and we'll give it to you, but we'll give it to you over 5 years.
Yeah.
But what will be a really scary moment for Newcastle? I mean, is it scary for Newcastle? I don't know. But if it gets to February and it's not done yet, because he was doing that, they were just trying to smoke out the investors and get it sorted out in that sense. And also, if he's put a deadline on it and he hasn't got an investor yet, is he going to rush through a move? Yeah. And then if that happens, are you getting the wrong guy in?
We had a good comment from Stephen Dyer. He says, why on earth are Newcastle always described as a massive club? They won the league once in 1927. They last won anything 62 years ago. Big crowds now, but so what? Even those figures were only post 94. They were.
I mean, look, big club, small club, middle-sized club. It's not overly important. The big thing for me, I think they're a huge club because it's a big city. They're the main club in that city, and they get strong support every single week. 52,000.
They are a big club. They are. You can't get 52,000.
And they've been in the. You know, they've finished second a few different times. They've had some massive footballers in the Premier League era, and before that they've had Kevin Keegan's, you've had Malcolm Allison, all those different guys. They are a massive club.
I'm not sure what the source is, but someone's saying in the comments here that Arsenal are reportedly willing to sell Ozil for 10 to 15 million during January. If you're Arsenal, would you take 10 to 15 million, given the fact you're losing 5 months later? Might as well not. What's 10, 15 million to a club like Arsenal?
I mean, like we were talking about earlier, like he's a really talented player if he's got those grit players around him. And but instead, people are asking him to be the man, and he hasn't got the stomach for it. So, I think the sooner he goes, the sooner you can move forward and get the right sort in. So, I mean, I don't think the money matters now. 10 million is as much as having 0, really. But if you want to get in the Champions League, you're better off keeping him till the summer, I would say.
Massive problems if Ozil's left. You know, not even the fact that he hasn't been that effective, but what does that say? What's happening there? It's you can't even conceive him leaving in January. Like losing for free at the end of the season. I think that does way more. Who do they replace him with? How do they bring in? It's not like Draxler's going to just turn up and go, all right, I'm going to.
Is he offering that much at the moment? I don't know. I'd be interested to know what Arsenal fans think about it. I'm not saying he's not, but he's not. I'm not an Arsenal fan, but I haven't been reading that he's doing great. So are you actually losing that much?
I don't just let us know in the comments what you think. Is Arsenal selling Ozil a statement in January, or are they better off keeping him?
John Vonton says Ozil is a world-class footballer, but Arsenal have broken him. Put him with Pep, Poch, and you'll see Real Madrid Ozil again.
That would be funny.
It's about the balance of the players around him. That's what I was saying earlier.
It would be well funny. It's
what,
Spurs
just tore it up again?
No, Spurs just
sometimes you need a new start.
Spurs just went. Spurs went.
That's it. Haven't got to move.
Okay, well, I don't know. It's just he's a great player, but
seems
sometimes
to be troubling you. Is this troubling you?
What?
Ozil. You seem troubled.
I could give a shit. It actually makes me happy.
Right.
I was stalling to find the running order again.
Got it.
Yeah, safe standing at Shrewsbury. 65 grand they've raised to be the first club in league. They're currently in League One, second in the league, flying.
They are flying.
They haven't lost a game. 9 wins, 4 defeats, 4 draws. It looks like they're going into League Championship.
If they can keep it going, obviously, yeah.
What I don't know, and what I should have researched is, there'd have to be some sort of passing in law in order to have safe standing in the top 2 divisions, because you can already in League One.
Yeah.
So
you still got it in Brentford, haven't you?
We have terraces.
I think there's an understanding there.
Don't you have to change it for 3 years?
There is some sort of agreement that eventually we're planning to change it, but it doesn't seem to really be happening. We're moving to a new ground, apparently.
Yeah.
In 2019, so.
But I think Shrewsbury were given the all clear to sort of test it out, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
regardless of what league they're in, Celtic could be doing safe standing. Obviously, teams in Germany are doing it in major leagues. So I think they've been given the all clear to do it. I think it's just a matter of time. It's just a kind of they're going through the proceedings of it and doing the right thing.
Yeah.
It'll be a good trivia question. In
massive
60 years.
Yeah, massive statement though, isn't it? It's kind of you just want everyone just to come to their senses and just say, look, this is what everybody wants. It's clear that this is not a dangerous way to watch football. It's safer, in fact, than standing up behind seats and cutting your shins to pieces. I mean, when you have a great win against a rival, your legs are in bits, your shins are buggered, your knees are bruised to fuck.
Yeah.
This is much safer and a logical step forward. But it's kind of, we move so slowly. And
in terms of, that's probably true. But in the grand scheme of things, after everything that's happened, you're probably better off. You are better off doing it the right way, doing it slightly slower in this country, because you don't want anything bad happening again. I think you can't underestimate how much of a lifeline this is going to be to working class young football fans who want to go and support their team but don't have the cash to do it.
Yeah.
Because if you can have entire stands that are safe standing, and it allows you to put those ticket prices down, you can get football back to where it should be, where it is so visceral. It's like you can feel it and go mad, and it's like a little mosh pit. That football is missing it so much.
I miss terraces so much, even the old ones. I really do miss them. It was such a different experience, a more bonding experience.
Yeah.
Than sitting. It became such a stare, and I know for good reason why seats were brought in, without doubt. Something you had to change. It wasn't safe. Crash barriers were the worst if you were standing in front of them. I remember being a kid and I was only tall enough to get about. They were essentially, for those that don't know, old terraces were just like steps that went down towards the pitch, and then to stop surging, which is what would happen in the old days, where all the crowds would wave from one side to the other. They put in surge barriers sporadically across this sort of concrete terracing, and that would stop the surging.
So we still have at Brentford?
You probably do.
Still have that Brentford? Yeah.
Still have barriers.
Yeah, it's the same thing, though, isn't it?
But
little ends.
Exactly. Yeah. And but in Brentford's case, the actual stand isn't that deep. How many rows deep is that? Is it 20?
20.
Yeah. A bit more.
30 rows.
It's still enough that if everyone there says for fun, people get crushed to fuck.
Yeah. But no, you'd spill over into the pitch.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I remember being sitting in front of them, kids. You'd have to put kids on the other side of the surge barriers so that they wouldn't get crushed.
Right.
So there was a lot wrong with it. Don't get me wrong, but there was you know, it was special. You know,
But
you
I went
sharing.
to Brentford away last year, and and it wasn't, you know, it was crammed. But
How'd you get on?
We lost, but when we scored the goal, it was the whole reason to go to the football is to feel part of something. And when that moment when you score a goal, and it's fucking brilliant.
It is
when you do it standing up and you can jump on someone and they don't give a shit.
Yeah,
it's class.
I would describe scoring a goal against your rivals, especially if it's like the second one in quick succession. So you score one, great example. Aaron Lennon scoring against. Bale scoring against Spurs, and then scoring against Arsenal for Spurs, and then literally from the kickoff, our second attack, Scott Parker slices this beautiful ball through. Lennon makes this crescent run, takes it on, goes past the keeper, and scores again. 2 goals in 2 minutes. That second goal, it was the best feeling I've ever had in my entire life. That and the Harry Kane goal against Arsenal.
You're not a bit spent.
It was better than any sex I've ever had. Better than any sex. And
you weren't spent. You weren't like, just give us a second.
No.
You're out of breath from the first one. No. You haven't recovered.
You just recovered. You just had it in you enough, and you don't know what's going on. And just the elation. It's like people search. They do crazy things around this world to find that moment of feeling alive and just pure, like spine tingling feeling. I've done lots of really fun stuff in my life. I've enjoyed my life to an excess. Nothing compares to that feeling. Nothing. It is incredible. Fucking love it. It's fucking electric.
Big time.
Beautiful. Before we go into your questions and end the podcast, want to get your thoughts on Antonio Conte ripping into Chelsea players, and he plans to replace Michy Batshuayi. It's good, isn't it? In January. Conte loses a couple of games, he loses his shit. He just wants everything his own way.
You're so...
Get him out of Chelsea Football Club.
It's just becoming clearer and clearer how you are like...
What?
You just wait, you're waiting for like the press or something to go that way. And then you go, he's got to go. And he's good actually. He's good, isn't he? Yeah. I like him.
Yeah.
You loved Conte.
I do love him.
You loved Conte.
But it's time for him to go. The milk has soured.
Yeah.
He's
got to go.
Look, he
wake
won,
up and smell the coffee.
It's just fun, isn't it? Because they won the league. They were unstoppable last season. Chelsea fans proper like smug. Got the best manager in the league, and the wheels are falling off, Jim.
Mate, you literally
the wheels
you were
are
crazy
falling
about
off.
him 3 weeks ago.
He's driving the bus off a cliff. Get him out before he kills everybody.
With this statement taken out of context, he's a great manager. He's very emotional.
Yeah,
and he's
do you
know, he likes an excuse as well, which I'm a little bit. Come on now, you know.
Yeah.
Get on with it.
Yep.
Keep your head up. You've got embarrassment of riches there. You've got players all over the world on loan deals. Maybe bring a few back.
Can you request some questions for him?
Get your questions in. Yeah, John Vonton, Conte's losing his hair again. Craig, a good friend of mine, he loves a hair transplant on a football person. Goes crazy about Rooney losing and then finding his hair and then losing it and then finding it again.
Yeah.
Conte, he says, is the best hair transplant out there right now.
It is incredible. He's done the surgeon, or whatever you call them, has an absolute worldie.
So it's 12 grand and it's follicle by follicle they put them in.
It's disgusting.
It's incredible.
It is. Have you ever seen the process on telly?
No.
Yeah.
If you've got that kind of money, would you do that?
They've got I don't think I could go through it. I don't give a shit. I would just shave my head.
Would you?
Yeah. You shave your head. You essentially, when you're going bald, you do the reverse. So bald people with beards, they look alright. So you just reverse it. You say, I can't grow out my head anymore.
Then
grow out my face.
your head, like.
Yeah.
Switch it round.
If you want to be silly, yes, James. We was having a little chat while we wait for the questions to come in. Right, we was having a little chat about what do emojis mean. What emojis mean what? And you know the little sideways glance with the smirk. In my head, that's a frisky little flirty one to send when you're saying like,
you don't have to show him.
Do you want a bit of the D?
Go.
Little, and it's creepy unless you put the little sideways glancing smiley.
Yeah.
People know what I'm talking about.
What is your emoji usage like? Is it high?
Because
the other thing is with like autocorrect now, they'll give you an option where you can go straight to the emoji and not even use the word. Is that not manly enough? If you're using too many emojis.
I mean, I think you're think you're. I think
is it?
Your
is it not manly enough for you, Flav?
Manly enough.
I haven't slept much. Got a bad rib.
I'm not. I don't mind. I don't have people using it. I noticed like in certain groups on WhatsApp that it's not the right etiquette to use emojis. Like my brother's group, we've never used one.
Not one.
Not one.
I'm like a heart when you
nothing.
Like, tell each other you love me.
No, nothing. Not a single emoji has ever been used in that group, and it's been there for about 4 years.
Right.
Lads together tend to not to use it. Where are you at with sending kisses to your mates, your guy mates?
Guy mates?
Yeah.
Depends on the context. I'm fine with it.
Az loves a kiss.
Do you?
Az sends a little kiss on the thing.
That's not true.
What, one kiss or?
I mean,
how many you putting down?
I actually don't send kisses to anyone. It's a bit childish.
I've got fucking messages to kiss like
You haven't.
good night, hope you sleep well. Kiss.
What's your favourite emoji, Flav?
The crying emoji. Everyone's favourite.
Oh,
I
is it?
hate that.
Yeah.
Oh,
the thing is
there's
that
two
funny.
crying emojis though.
Things that
There's
funny.
two crying emojis. There's wow, that's so funny, I'm crying, and there's one that's so funny, I'm crying, and my head's turned a bit.
I like upside down smiley. When you prove someone wrong and you just give them an upside down
smiley. What is that saying though? What are you
It's just
saying
like
with
mugging
that?
them off.
No, it
I
isn't.
was right again. Upside down.
No, that isn't. The upside. Tell us in the comments. What does the upside down smiley mean, and when's the correct time to use it? I just think it means when people's being a bit like of a. I can't find the right word. Bit of a div. Bit of a Dave.
Right.
That's it.
Do you want to know my one? I'll do it to this camera, Adam, if you want. Ready? My favourite emoji. that one. I like that one.
My favourites.
Sorry, just to explain that if you're listening to the podcast, it's the hands out going sorry. It can be used as in sorry or I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a person, and it looks a little bit like me actually.
Mr. Anonymous says, "How long would you give Klopp? He's in a similar situation, in my opinion, when Poch took over at Spurs. How is he? What do you mean? Similar question. How's he in a similar position?
It's probably not, is he? Firstly, what was Pochettino's first season like?
Mediocre.
Right.
We finished about mid-table. Similar 0 goal difference.
So he did worse than Klopp.
Well, he was kind of at that period of transition. He was getting rid of big players, and young players were coming in.
Right.
So we ended that first season. Both had our captain and vice captain left the club in Adboyer and Kabul, and then we ended it with Kane as the first striker when we had Soldado and Adebayor there, and we had Bentaleb and.
All right.
And,
so you
and
finished
Mason.
mid-table, and then what happened the year after that? Then you finished second.
No, then we finished third behind Arsenal. Then we finished
Very much like Liverpool. So he finished 8th, third, and he's now in his third season. So you finished second in your third season.
Yeah.
So, well, and it doesn't at this moment in time look like it's going as well as it has done for Poch in his third season.
Yeah.
How much time would you give if Pochettino had a difficult start to his third season? Would you be like, the milk's turned sour, yada yada yada? Take yourself back there for a second. Can you remember that far back?
Yeah. I don't know. What was the question? I wasn't listening.
Right. Jesus Christ.
I thought, how can I start?
How do I get out of this?
I can't start it. I just wasn't listening to him in the two-man conversation. I'm really sorry. I'm being honest with you. I wasn't listening to what you said.
Right, I kind of knew anyway. Right. So first season, right?
Yes.
He's trying to concentrate.
First season, yeah.
First season, you did pretty much the same thing as Klopp. You finished mid-table. Klopp finished 8th.
Yeah.
Right. Next season, you finished 4th.
Yeah.
They finished 3rd.
Yep.
So very similar.
Yep.
Right. Now, in present day with Klopp, he's not having the best of starts of the season.
Mm-hmm.
In your third season,
Same.
you finished second, didn't you?
Yeah.
Right.
And we're
But
like
at
5th or 6th now.
But if you had started not great at that season,
I get you.
Would you be like, the milk's turned sour?
No, I wouldn't, because of the exact same reason why Liverpool fans still love Klopp. He embodies how they feel about their club. He's a kind of personification of the feelings inside themselves for Liverpool, and I completely, that means so much. You know, the same reason that having Holloway in charge of QPR means so much to you, even though, you know, he's average. Average at best. He's not even average, he's below par. It's probably on par with what you can get. Anyway, and Poch is the same. You know, I get that we haven't won any trophies, but the way he makes me feel, and when I listen to the when he talks, it's just like he's the bollocks.
But that's it. I think that's the same for Liverpool fans. And I think if you're not getting that from him, if you're not getting that from Klopp, if you can't kind of drink that Kool-Aid, as Page likes to say, then you're like, I mean, you need to cheer up a little bit, I think. You want someone to make you think that your team and club is important and magical and that you can do anything. You're not listening again, are you?
I am. I'm trying to set up the next question.
Right, and so... I've forgotten what I was saying, And so get swept up in it, I would say, to Liverpool fans.
Yeah. I mean, Garrett, who's obviously a big fan of Long Ball Street and all the other strands we do.
Ex-pundit and fan.
Ex-Fanley pundit. Wasn't sacked.
Hasn't joined the league.
Download
the app, please. Join the league. Add me as a friend, James Alcott.
Wrong podcast.
I'll invite you to the league.
He says, "I've no real problem with Klopp at the moment. We'll see how things go," which is in that kind of sentiment's in direct contrast across to what you hear from most Liverpool fans.
Yeah, well, that's because angry.
Most of them love Klopp.
Yeah.
Klopp.
Yeah.
As that wasn't even not really even the scale section. Klopp. All right, that's it. And it descended into a farce.
Question: tell me how you agree that City are playing the best football in the league. upside down face. Matthew Nuttall. I don't really know. That doesn't seem to be a question. I think that's not too many questions.
John Vonton actually asked earlier. He says, "Is Tottenham a rough area?" Because he used to live in Edmonton. I said, yes, Tottenham is grim. But I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. I lived there for 3 years, so I'm allowed to say that it's grim, and I'm allowed to say that it's not a very nice people for other fans of other clubs to come and visit.
Does he just mean the area, or does he mean the
I think he means the area, yeah. I mean, there's going to be a lot of changes in Tottenham. I mean, the building of that stadium has far-reaching impact on the area. In some ways, it's very good because it's going to bring lots more money into the area and desperately needs it, but it's also going to push the value of local property up, and it's one of the most poverty-ridden districts.
Is that going to push people out, though?
I think it will push local residents out, yeah.
That's bad, right?
Yeah, of course, it's a bad thing. It's gentrification, essentially. It won't be long before you have cereal shops opening up and all that kind of shit. The problem, just to put into perspective how poor how poor Tottenham is. Haringey, 2 years ago when I did a study for my previous job, Haringey was the 5th most poverty-ridden district in all of Great Britain. The 5th most. Haringey on the east side of the borough west side of the borough has Muswell Hill, Crouch End and the part of Highgate. These 3 areas are so rich. So how poor must Tottenham, Wood Green and South Tottenham be in order to make the whole district 5th poor? It must be among the worst places. And poverty was terrible. So, in one fashion, it's a good thing that Tottenham are building there and investing in the area. What really happens is you just push the poverty away. You don't deal with it. So hopefully, and I already know that what we first signed up to and the amount of government housing as a part of the new build has been reduced, which is kind of shameful if it is true.
Yeah.
There's a lot good and bad that's going to come with that new stadium.
I think it's a massive problem throughout London that the poorest are the ones who are getting pushed out. And I was chatting to someone about it the other day that what you see in a lot of other cities like Paris, the centre of Paris.
Yeah.
Most of Paris, it's for rich people. And it's actually the poorest people are on the suburbs, on the outskirts.
Yeah.
Actually, London's it's kind of bucked that trend for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Like I'm from Surrey, which is like an affluent place, and
which is also nothing to do with London.
But sorry, it's just outside of London. That's my point. It's that
the
rich people were outside of London and went into community. I'm not rich, by the way. I just make that clear. Middle class.
Wow.
Whatever.
Why are you?
I just want to make it clear.
Oh, you? Really?
Yeah.
It's not a problem if you are.
No, it's
it's nice.
I know it's not.
It must be nice to.
I'm just trying to be factual.
Right.
But what you're seeing now is the opposite. Like that, it's going to go the other way around because people are getting pushed out of central London because it's insane to buy a place in London or even to rent. It's difficult.
It is impossible, absolutely impossible. In fact, do birds in that. I mean, you haven't got any questions.
Oh, I have an update.
I forgot this.
Oh, don't.
Your own fault. All right, fuck it, leave it.
No.
He's got a date tonight, ain't he? Second big date, boy! Go on, son!
Oh my god.
What's going on?
I'm considering not going.
What? You've got
I
to.
just can't really be bothered.
Wow, he's getting so much that he can pick and choose interested women.
I was actually asking everyone on here earlier what I should do, and obviously they all said go.
Yeah, man. This could be your future wife.
It's not.
You don't know that.
It's always the one that you weren't sure about going to. That's the one, mate.
Ask her.
Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ask her. First date. First question. Sorry. Ask her. How do you feel about me? Where is this going?
Tackle it early.
Tackle it early. Be brave and bold. That's what we mean. Like bold, brave behaviour.
What's the story so far?
We went for a drink last week. I like her, she was cool, and got on well, but...
Spark,
He don't like a boat! He don't like a boat!
Yeah.
You don't want to fit, you shallow mother.
I didn't say anything.
Adam is not keen on her face.
But yeah, so I'm not like desperate to see it again, but I agreed to.
It's good of you.
Yeah, I mean, look, don't, mate. You should go. If you agree to go, don't fucking. This is me being serious. Don't. If she's looking forward to it and you've been her off, it's gonna make her feel bad. Yeah. So just go. Yeah, be a man. Be a man of your word and go.
Yeah, just go this one last time and then leave it. What do you when you don't want to do it anymore? How do you phase them out?
Just fizzle.
Just
I'm an expert
straight up fizzle. Are you? Yeah. What's your hang on? So I'm going. I'll be the girl.
Yeah.
So
just longer time before you reply.
Right. Okay.
Like less friendly replies.
Right. So this is tomorrow morning. Wow.
How do you live your life?
Wait. Let's have the conversation. So
like,
I'm texting, right? You text back in verbal.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
What the fuck? Right.
Do it.
So morning after. Hi Adam. That was such a great time. Cinema. Not really the best date, if I'm honest. Would have preferred to go for dinner. And it would have been nice if you paid some of it, but doesn't matter. I had a great time. You seem really cool. Don't do the thing with your hands again. It's just a bit odd. And what was that? I feel really funny and groggy this morning. What did you put in my... Anyway, forget that. I'd love to see you again this weekend. Let me know if you're free.
Firstly, how long do you leave? And then what do you say?
To that. I would never reply to that.
You just wouldn't reply?
Yeah, if I'd done what he just suggested.
Alright, basically, are you free Saturday?
Not this Saturday, maybe next week.
Olive branch.
That's it.
Right.
No,
so
you have to offer that. It has to be gradual.
Okay. Great, fine, no problem. When next week? And where?
Upside down smiley.
Just never specify. Just always be kind of vague. Be like, probably midweek will suit me. Let's just go.
Cool. Name a time. Let's do it now because I'm really busy next week. So it'd be best. But I want to see you. But I want to see you, and you've said next week. So tell me a time. I'll book somewhere. What are you saying? What are you saying to that?
Right, then I don't reply.
Then you don't reply. Then
really
straight up
is that,
pie face. Wow.
Your problem is, Adam, right? Is you're too good looking. He's too good looking. He's had too much success with women. That's his problem. But have a think about for the men, not me. The men out there.
What's the least fizzle a breakup you've had? Have you ever gone, look, love, not for me. You're not for me. That is not up to it.
No.
Well, that's all right.
I'm not like rude to them.
No, he's a lovely boy. He's a lovely boy.
Thank you very much, Adam, for sharing all of your information once again. I mean,
best of luck.
Yeah, best of luck tonight. Don't tin her off because that's out of order. I'll just do what you want. I don't care. I don't know. All right, that's it. Thanks for joining us on the Long Ball Street podcast. Remember to join us on the other Ball Street for the one for the weekend.
Yes.
James would make a much better therapist than Psycho Flav.
Get your questions in. I would love to be a therapist.
There we go.
I'll answer it all.
Maybe next week.
Yeah.
All right. See you later. See you at the far post.